Most people don't feel bad about money because they're irresponsible. They feel bad because they're unsure and confused as hell. Most are saving something, investing a little, and spending carefully. But in the back of their mind, there's this quiet question. Am I actually doing this thing right? Maybe you yourself are wondering, should I be saving more, investing more? How much cash is too much? Am I behind compared to other people my age? Or this is my favorite, am I overthinking this? If you've ever felt like your money decisions are technically fine but emotionally confusing as hell, this video is really for you. Because today I'm gonna try to break down and walk through just a simple system of organizing your finances so decisions feel clearer and just overall less stressful. And my aim by the end of this video is for you to feel more confident about where your money should go, less anxious about whether you're behind or not, and just a lot more calm knowing that you don't need to rush. You just need to understand. So let's start with why money feels confusing to begin with, even when you're doing fine. You see, most people assume if money feels confusing, I must be doing something wrong. But that's not always true. Money often feels confusing because advice is usually very fragmented and no one explains how the pieces fit together. You got one person saying save everything, another one saying invest everything, and then there's another person that comes and says just enjoy your life, and then another one comes and says sacrifice everything, beans and rice. Man, like which one is it? It's like asking 5 people how to drive and all of them are screaming directions all at the same time. So you're not bad with money, you just don't have a system. And without a system, every dollar feels like it's life or death situation. So the goal of this video is not to tell you what specific account to open. Instead, it's to give you a mental framework that makes future decisions just much more easier. Here's a system we use today. Think of your money as having 4 jobs, and that's it. Stability, protection, growth, and enjoyment. You see, most stress around money comes from mixing these up. So we're going to separate them clearly and intentionally. Because if you don't tell your money what job it has, it starts to freelance, and that's when chaos starts to happen. Bucket number 1, stability. This is your foundation and cash buffer. Its only job is to keep your life stable when something unexpected happens. This includes emergency fund, short-term cash for known expenses, and buffer for income variability. For most people, this looks like it's 3 to 6 months of essential expenses. And here's something important psychologically. This money is not lazy. It is working, just not financially. You see, it's instead working emotionally because it buys you peace of mind, decision flexibility, and just the ability to say no to bad situations. So if you ever felt anxious investing, it's often because this bucket wasn't solid yet. And I feel like I have to say this again to ensure it sticks. This is not investment money. This is not let me flip this. This is not what if I miss out. Instead, this is if life slaps me in the face, I don't end up crumbling like dry biscuits. So this money is not lazy. The money is actually working harder than most investments because this is what actually stops you from making emotional decisions. You see, more often than not, the reason people panic sell is because they don't have this bucket. Bucket number 2, protection. This bucket is boring and only exists so that one bad event doesn't undo 10 years of progress. This includes health insurance, auto insurance, or renters or homeowners insurance. This bucket is not exciting whatsoever. And that's the point. You don't feel it working, you feel it when something goes wrong and your life doesn't end up just collapsing right in front of your face. So, many people skip this bucket because it doesn't feel productive, but protection is what allows you to take smart risks everywhere else in your life without constant fear. Bucket number 3, growth. This is where investing lives. Its job is not short-term results. Its job is long-term compounding. This includes retirement accounts, taxable brokerage accounts, and just broad diversified investments. Here's the truth. Your investing strategy doesn't need to be impressive. It just needs to be repeatable. Simple, boring, and consistent investing over time beats emotional investing. It also beats jumping strategies and beats just trying to time the market. Most people don't fail at investing because of bad investments. They fail because they can't sit still. They're always switching, they're always reacting to what's on the news, and always scared that they're missing something. Your money doesn't need excitement, it needs time. If you invest consistently over 10 years, your behavior matters way more than your returns in any single year. Bucket number 4, enjoyment. This is the most overlooked and most misunderstood bucket, and where most people just mess up real bad. This is money you intentionally spend on experiences, comfort, just small luxuries, and lifestyle upgrades that you value. The problem isn't spending money. The problem is spending unintentionally. You see, when enjoyment doesn't have a place in your system, guilt shows up everywhere. This is where when you overspend, you feel bad, and when you underspend, you feel deprived. But when enjoyment has a lane, spending becomes calm. You're not asking, should I spend this? You're asking, does this fit into the life that I'm trying to build? That's a much healthier question. If you don't give enjoyment a lane, it starts hijacking your entire budget. Then you're like, I don't even know where my money went. So here's the order most people should focus on. Stability first, followed by protection, then growth, then enjoyment. Not perfectly, not all at once, but progressively. You don't need to max everything today. You just need to move forward intentionally. Here's the psychology behind why this works. When money feels stressful, it's usually because everything is blended together. Every decision feels permanent and just a one-way door. And you feel like you're constantly choosing wrong. The system removes that emotional weight, and you're no longer deciding, should I invest or save? You're instead deciding, which bucket does this belong in? That's clarity. So before we wrap this up, it's important to address a few misunderstandings that could create a lot of just unnecessary stress around money. These aren't mistakes people make because they're careless. They're mistakes that people make because incentives and messaging around money are often very confusing. Misunderstanding number 1. I should always maximize returns. Now, this idea sounds logical on the surface, but in real life, it causes a lot more harm than good. Maximizing returns often means taking risks that you don't fully understand, holding on to investments that you're very anxious about, or just constantly second guessing yourselves when the markets move. Money doesn't work in isolation from your nervous system. The goal isn't to squeeze every possible percentage point out of your finances. The goal, at least in my eyes, is to build a setup you can stick with through uncertainty. Once you have a strategy that keeps you calm, consistent, and patient, it will almost always outperform a better strategy that you abandon when things start to get just a little uncomfortable. Misunderstanding number 2. If I'm not doing everything, I must be failing. Progress in personal finance is not binary. You're not either winning or failing because money is built in layers. Stability first, then protection, then growth, then enjoyment. You don't need to have every layer perfect at the same time. Progress beats perfection almost all the time. A simple system you follow consistently is far more powerful than a complex system that you feel guilty about. Misunderstanding number 3. I need to rush. Money doesn't reward speed. It rewards patience, consistency, and understanding. You see, most financial outcomes are not decided in just 1 year. They're decided by what you repeat over 5, 10, 15, 20 years. You don't need to make the perfect move today. What you need is you just need to make responsible decisions that you can repeat calmly over time. That's how confidence compounds. So speaking of confidence, what does confidence with money actually look like? Here's the truth. Confidence with money isn't knowing every answer or timing the markets or having the biggest portfolio. Confidence with money, at least in my eyes, is knowing why your money is structured the way it is, being okay moving slowly, and trusting your system even when others do things differently. That's what long-term wealth actually feels like. Quiet, boring, and very stable. Now, if you've noticed, this channel doesn't try to pressure you into action because good money decisions don't come from urgency. They come from understanding. That's the approach that I try to take here. So here's the single most important takeaway from this video. You don't need to optimize everything right now. You don't need to rush. You don't need to compare yourself to anyone else. And you don't need to feel like every decision is permanent. What you need is a simple system that separates your money by purpose, reduces emotional decision making, and supports long-term thinking. When your money has structure, your decisions feel lighter. When your decisions feel lighter, you stop avoiding them. And when you stop avoiding them, progress becomes steady and predictable. You don't need urgency. You just need understanding. So hey, if this video brought you a little bit more clarity or relief around money, feel free to like and subscribe. It helps more people find calm, practical explanations like this. Thanks for watching.